All right, let's talk about a book that completely flipped the script on personal finance for millions of people. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We're going to get right into the core ideas that made this book so revolutionary.
So, picture this. You've got two dads, and they're telling you two completely opposite things about money. One says, the love of money is the root of all evil. But the other? He says, no, the lack of money is the root of all evil. I mean, talk about a conflict, right? This one single difference is the foundation for everything that follows in the book.
So let's dive into this tale of two dads, because these guys weren't just spouting different opinions over dinner. They really embodied two completely different ways of living, two totally different futures.
And you can see the difference right here. You've got poor dad, his actual father, a super smart, highly educated guy whose whole mantra was, stay in school, get a good, safe job with benefits. Sound familiar? Then you have rich dad, his best friend's dad, who is all about financial freedom. His advice was totally different. Learn how money really works. One avoided talking about money, the other made it a constant exercise.
So imagine being just 9 years old and having to choose between these two powerful influences. Kiyosaki chose the path less traveled. He decided to listen to Rich Dad, and that decision kicked off a 30-year journey that would turn everything he thought he knew about money completely upside down.
Okay, so what's the first major lesson he learns? It's all about this thing that most of us are stuck in, whether we know it or not, the rat race.
See, according to Rich Dad, this whole cycle is fueled by two big emotions. The first one? Fear. You know that feeling, right? The fear of the bills piling up, the fear of not having enough. That's the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning and pushes you to your job.
And right on the heels of fear comes the second emotion, desire. The second that paycheck hits your account, what happens? Your mind starts racing with all the cool stuff you can buy, right? A new phone, a vacation, that's desire calling your name, begging you to spend that money you just worked so hard for.
And boom, there's the cycle. Fear makes you work, desire makes you spend, and then you're back to square one with the fear all over again. The book uses this perfect analogy of a donkey chasing a carrot on a stick. It just keeps running and running, thinking it's about to get the reward, but the carrot is always just out of reach. That's the rat race. It's an illusion.
So is there a way out? How do you get off this hamster wheel? Well, according to Rich Dad, there is. And the great escape comes down to one single word: assets. Now, forget any complicated definitions you've heard. Rich Dad's definition of an asset is brilliantly simple. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. That's it. Full stop. It's all about the direction of the cash flow.
And you can probably guess the flip side. A liability? Well, that's anything that takes money out of your pocket. Again, super simple. Just follow the money. If it's costing you money month after month, it's a liability.
And this simple distinction, this is the whole game. This is the fundamental difference in how the rich and everyone else live their financial lives. It's not about how much money you make. It's about what you do with it. Most people buy liabilities they think are assets. The rich, they spend their lives buying true income-producing assets.
This cash flow diagram from the book just lays it all out perfectly. Look at the middle class column. Your salary comes in, and where does it go? Whoosh, right back out to pay for the mortgage, the car payment, all those liabilities. Now look at the rich column. They use their money to buy assets first, things like stocks or rental properties. Those assets then create more income, and that income pays for their lifestyle. See the difference? Their money is working for them, not the other way around.
Okay, so this leads us to what is probably the most controversial idea in the whole book. If we're sticking to that super simple definition, is your house an asset? I mean, think about it. Your mortgage, taxes, insurance, repairs, all of that is money flowing out of your pocket every single month. So by Rich Dad's logic, your home is actually a liability.
So, if the goal is to build up assets instead of liabilities, what's the next step? Rich Dad's advice is simple. Mind your own business.
Now hold on, this does not mean you should go hand in your notice tomorrow. Your job is one thing, but your business is another. Your business is your asset column. And the goal is to move from the left side of this cash flow quadrant, where you're an employee or self-employed, basically trading your time for money, over to the right side, where you're a business owner or investor, and your money and systems are working for you. So what kind of business are we talking about here? What are these real assets? Well, the book lays them out pretty clearly. Things like businesses that can run without you, stocks, bonds,
real estate that actually pays you every month, royalties from things you create. The key thing to notice is that your job isn't on the list. Your job pays the bills. Your business, your asset column, is what makes you wealthy.
When you strip it all the way, when you get to the heart of every single lesson in this book, it all comes down to one simple but incredibly powerful idea: the power of choice.
And here's a pretty bold statement from the book. For something like 90% of people, becoming rich is just, well, it's too much of a hassle. It's easier to just stick with what you know. It takes work to learn this stuff and build an asset column, so most people simply choose not to.
And that choice isn't some big one-time decision. It happens every single day with every single dollar that comes into your hands. Think about it. That dollar gives you the power to choose your future. You can spend it on stuff, and that's a vote to be poor. You can use it to pay down liabilities, and that's a vote to be middle class. Or you can use it to buy an asset, and that's your vote to become rich.
So, what can you actually do with all this? The path forward is really a three-part mindset shift. First, you have to invest in your financial education. Learn the language of money. Second, you have to actively choose to buy assets, not liabilities. And finally, you've got to truly understand that every single dollar is a choice that's building your future one way or another.
And that really is the question the book leaves you with. It's not about your boss or the government or the economy. It's about the small choices you make every single day. So the real question is, what choice are you going to make with your next dollar?